Before we begin, this episode is full of adult concepts and language.
Right now you're probably thinking, I forgot to tell you.
We've used voice actors to bring you the words spoken in court.
Channel 7 had put Bruce up at the Meriton for what he described as a coming down to Sydney to unwind kind of trip. And I'd been reappointed to be his babysitter, minder, looking after him, building up a rapport and trying to build trust with a prospective interview subject. Mr. Lerman had, over dinner, purchased a bag of cocaine whilst we were dining at Franco. And when we got upstairs to the room, he pulled that out and started to put it on a plate. And then started talking to me about a prospective spotlight story and his desire to order prostitutes to the Meriton that night, and began Googling a series of websites. During that conversation, he agreed to be in a spotlight interview. As long as we didn't ask him about what happened on that night in Canberra. I was taken aback. It jumped out at me as quite concerning, so I put it to him that we would have to ask him hard questions about that night in Canberra, given that was the sole purpose of the Spotlight investigation, and continued to chat. I told Mr. Lerman I didn't have the means to be able to pay for the activities that he would like to engage in.
Auerbach said he messaged a senior producer.
During the course of the night, I'd begun texting Mr. Steve Jackson, who was my boss, telling him I was concerned this was happening again. I told him I was scared, and I told him Bruce was on the warpath again, and it was no anomaly. And if you don't mind me swearing, Your Honour, I think I used the words, "This is fucked."
Good afternoon. You're probably thinking by now, if he can't break stories or produce stories, what can he do? Well, my answer to that is wait until you see my pussy. Come on, little Silver Logie. Come on, Silver Logie, come on, here she comes. Here she comes. Oh, say hello to your little friend. Oh, Silver Logie. Silver Logie, you there? It was only yesterday when I was holding you whilst topless, taking selfies for Instagram. Then one day, in a rainstorm, little Silver Logie went out and got very wet. And when she came back, she was cold and shivering. So I put her in the microwave just to warm up and dry off. And somehow she reached out and closed the door and then turned it on high for 3 minutes. Just all that's left of her. Silver logo. Chapter 3.
Previously on Jacko.
A little frank feedback at a now infamous private lunch with his wife, Christine, at his Darling Point mansion. After labelling 2024 an overcap car. Okay, we'll pause there. "2024, an open quote, shit year," close quote, for the network. He openly praised recently departed news and current affairs boss Craig McPherson.
Auerbach said
The
Lemon
quote,
then
best,
asked
unquote,
for payment.
Seven had ever had, hyphen, quote, better even than, parentheses, Peter, close parentheses, Megan, close quote.
At the conclusion of that trip, he got in touch with me to say that his bank account was dry after the, for want of a better word, bender.
Oh, comma, and did we mention this was all in front of McPherson's rookie replacement, comma, Anthony DeSedley?
And asked if there was a way that we'd be able to compensate him for that. The plan was that he would issue an invoice for per diems that would be paid for by Seven.
Since McPherson left? Well, if we're honest, not great. 9 News is now winning outright. Along the
I recall
Eastern
seeing the
Seaboard.
invoice, which was sent to either
After
me or the
establishing
unit manager
tight
or
grip
both
on
of us,
Sydney,
but it was an invoice for that period covering that trip in Sydney.
Massive inroads in Seven's traditional Perth and Adelaide stronghold.
Auerbach said he was later told by Lehrman the
Indeed.
invoice had been paid.
Adelaide stronghold.
Here's counsel for Lehrman, Matthew Richardson, spoken by a voice actor.
I want to suggest to you that those expenses were not reimbursed.
Ken says
There
if
were no
Lehrman did hand
bills
over the
paid.
documents, that's a breach of court rules.
9 News is now winning outright along the Eastern Seaboard after establishing a tight grip on Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, and is making massive inroads in Seven's traditional Perth and Adelaide strongholds. Indeed, 9 News' audience is up 15.3% year on year in the South Australian capital, while 7 News has dropped 4.6% in the same time frame. And in Perth, 7 West's media centre of power, 9 News is up a whopping 16.7% and even winning the odd outing.
And means the whole defamation case should be thrown out. Auerbach was asked about a separate event where he claims sex workers were involved. On 26 November 2022, after Lemon left, Auerbach says he put more than $10,000 worth of Thai massages on a company credit card.
In southwest Sydney, one of the biggest and most important ratings regions in the country. Quote, we used to pride it, we'll start again, in fairness. Quote, we used to pride ourselves on being the double quote barbecue chook channel, close double quote, because we were the ones in touch with your average family, having a BBQ acronym. BBQ, well, not really an acronym, more an automatically string of 11. BBQ chicken for dinner while watching the news that was important to them on 7, one insider says. All that's slipping away now between star signs and comedy skits and pets of the week. All the chopping and changing is alienating the rusted on viewers. And once you lose them, it's hard to get them back. And while 9 isn't breaking out the bubbles just
It's
yet,
earlier been revealed those charges came as a surprise to 7, which ordered this is part of the beef between Auerbach and Lehrman. After these allegations were first published in March, Lehrman denied any involvement in the massage situation and described Auerbach as a disgruntled ex-producer.
9 News has pulled ahead in recent weeks. Will soon overtake 7 News, and if the current trend continues...
Auerbach then threatened to sue Lehrman. Now, Auerbach has become the star witness for 10 in its defence against on Thursday. Richardson tendered a letter in which Auerbach offered his resignation to his bosses at 7 the morning after those massage charges. Richardson asked why, if he told 7 and later his psychologist that the expenses had nothing to do with work.
Transition from Prince of Print in Perth to a TV news supremo is not an easy one.
He was now claiming they were related to Bruce Lehrman.
Many have tried.
That morning was the worst morning of my life. Probably when I sent that email, I was very emotional. I was trying to give both 7 and, in some ways, Mr. Lehrman protection.
Gary Linnell lasted just 14 months as Nine's News and Current Affairs Director after switching from a print role as Editor-in-Chief of the now-defunct The Bulletin magazine in 2006. Neil Breen lasted 12 months as the Today Show... No, there's no the... Neil Breen lasted 20... No, he didn't last 20. Neil Breen lasted 12 months as Today Show executive producer after leaving his gig as the Sunday Telegraph's editor in 2012, though he has since established himself as one of the network's best reporters across news and a current affair.
In cross-examination, Richardson asked...
Now, Mr. Auerbach, it was seriously dishonest of you to put those expenses on a corporate credit card, wasn't it?
I'm struggling with the word dishonest, but it was wrong.
Well, it's dishonest, isn't it?
So many have tried and failed. Gary Linnell, Neil Breen and Simon Crystal, in terms of making the transition from print to television. There have only been 3 recorded examples in history: Gary Linnell, Neil Breen and Simon Crystal. That's it. Nobody else. How does Segley, although there's a 4th if you count to Segley, but do you count to Segley? I mean, is he a member of the Homo sapien species? I don't know. How can you win the ratings if you're not a human? How can you swap from print to television if you're not a human? How the Segley will compare to those tallies remains to be seen.
And he claimed that 7 didn't accept his resignation.
But he racks up 12 months in the hot seat this month.
And a pay rise after the Thai massage episode.
Having been promoted
on
from the
Thursday
gig,
evening, 7 released a statement rejecting all Auerbach's assertions.
7 is appalled by the allegations made in recent days. We do not condone the behaviours described in these allegations. They do not reflect the culture of 7. Did not offer a promotion or pay rise to Mr. Auerbach in November 2022, nor did it do so at any time after that.
After hammering 9 in the ratings for the better part of a decade, the former news boss is soon going to have his hands full with a major construction project. McPherson and his Gold Logie-winning wife Sonia Kruger have just dropped $16.1 million on a knockdown Mossman mansion with incredible views on Sydney's prized Balmoral slips. The purchase comes just 2 weeks after the media couple sold their former home, believe it or not, a Mossman mansion with incredible views on Sydney's prized Balmoral slips. Just a couple of blocks away for about $20 million. They picked up that property for $6.5 million 9 years ago before giving it a complete overhaul and look set to do it all again.
7 did not reimburse Bruce Lehrman for expenditure.
We reached out to McPherson to see what he had planned for his new block, but he was already too busy drawing
7 has at no point
blueprints
asked
for his
anyone to
new
delete
home.
or destroy evidence. The person involved admitted to the misuse of
Had he been
7 corporate
anonymous,
card,
it would be-
and all unauthorised expenses were immediately reimbursed. 7 has acted appropriately at all times.
Later in the day, the court was played a video in which Auerbach destroys the golf clubs of a colleague and former friend, Steve Jackson. In the video, Auerbach snaps
This
his
is another
gloves over
difficult
his
one.
knee, and pounds others
It
against
might
a
take
wall,
some composure,
grimacing at the
so I might
camera.
skip that
The
one,
caption for the video,
just to
which he
allow
posted
myself
to
some
Instagram, reads,
breathing.
"Merry Christmas, Outback." Soon the video was a parody of an earlier video made by Spotlight's executive producer, Llewellyn.
I've got about
But he
75
admitted he
pages, no,
hated Steve Jackson, and there
225
have been
pages.
background journalisms about Jackson in recent weeks.
When you left Channel 7, you had great resentment against the organisation and against Mr. Jackson and Mr. Llewellyn, didn't you?
No, nothing against 7.
There's no
Against
disputing
Llewellyn
times
and
are
Jackson.
tough in TV thanks to an
You threatened
advertisement
action
turned
against
down.
Channel 7 after your
Sorry?
contract wasn't renewed, correct?
Yes.
Headline: Channel 7 stars taking network to the cleaners. There's no disputing times are tough in TV thanks to an advertising downturn that shows little sign of abating. But it seems the bean counters at 7 have now resorted to rummaging down the back of the couch for loose change roll, trying to keep the lights on. The cost cutting has gotten so severe, the accountants have started going through every single solitary.
I want to suggest to you, Mr. Outback, that you are here today to do as much damage to your former employer and former colleagues as you possibly can.
I strongly disagree.
Richardson asked if Outback had tried to have his name added to a Walkley nomination for Spotlight's Bruce
discovered a
Lemon
host
story,
of news.
and said he contacted network news boss Craig
Government
McPherson
pondered a
about it.
possibility there. Discovered a host of news could be, for example, Michael Usher, Mark Ferguson, Angela Corp, host of news program. But it means the collective noun for a group of news reporters being a host. They discovered a host of news reporters had literally again, I always get thrown when I write literally because
I said I objected to it being
often it's
written.
not.
Did you make threats to appear at the Channel 7 Media AGM and raise embarrassing questions or questions
Just
that
to sort
embarrass
of
the
keep the
network?
audience on the toes.
No, not seriously.
Every now and then,
Outback
throws
has
me off
recently
and I have to
lost
read it
another
back to
job.
you.
His appearance in
My
court
faith
comes after several weeks in which Outback's name has been everywhere in the Sydney media, amid allegations against both Bruce Lemon and 7. The publicity cost him his most recent job.
And, did they find a doozy this month when they discovered a host of news reporters had been literally taking the channel to the cleaners for years.
Did your employers
Apparently not happy with their generous paychecks, a number of supposedly scrupulous on-air types had been charging their personal dry cleaning
Mr. Outback?
costs to the media
Sky
company.
News executives told him they were terminating his
Costs.
employment due
Dry
to
cleaning
trust and
costs.
confidence issues.
Dry cleaning costs
Notified the police about
to the
photographs
media
you have
costs.
circulated to various media organisations of this woman?
One of the claims in Outback's affidavits is that he deleted documents in his possession after being told by executive producer Mark Llewellyn and an external lawyer he named as Richard Keegan that Network 10 and Lisa Wilkinson weren't happy with Spotlight's story. That goes to Network 10's argument that Network 7 failed to comply with the subpoenas issued by the court. And it's all about 10's belief that 7's source was 10 alleges 7 was trying to hide the fact
Costs.
Lemon had handed over material.
Dry cleaning costs to the media company as part of a long-running rort under the network's previous laissez-faire regime, where reliably informed the worst offenders have received a stern talking to, while a strongly worded email about inappropriate expense claims was sent
Mr.
out.
Keegan never said anything to you suggesting that you should destroy or delete anything, did he?
He used the words as I indicated in my affidavit.
Shirts
I
in the
want to
grand
suggest
scheme
he
of
never
things.
so much as hinted, in fact, that you should do anything. By this time, that is
That's
late
completely
May, early
incorrect.
June 2023, you had been sidelined from
Well,
the program, hadn't you?
These
many
things tend to
ways,
have a
yes.
nasty habit.
In fact, you gave instructions, did you not, to
Well,
your
these
lawyers
things tend to have a
Gilbert and
nasty
Tobin
habit.
to put this material in a letter sent to the solicitors for Channel 7 in August
In fact,
last
we
year.
hear that when the
Late
Today Show's
2022
execs
onwards.
ran a similar
A client has been
sorry.
gradually excluded and removed from involvement in the story, correct?
In fact, we hear that when the Today Show's execs
Now,
ran
you
a
understand that the
similar rumor
allegations
over
you
their
make in the
expenses a couple
paragraph
of years
against
back,
the lawyer,
they were
Mr. Keegan,
shocked
is
to
incredibly
learn
serious
almost
given his
every
position.
single
Don't you
one
suggest
of
you
their
are willing to
staffers
say anything,
was
no matter how
giving
false,
their
to damage
breakfast
people
on
who
the
are employed by
channel's
Channel 7 or
in-house
connected to
cafe
Channel 7?
to the
Do you
program.
agree or disagree?
disinterested.
turns out
sought
cutting
to
the perk
establish
has
that
since
Taylor
saved
Auerbach's
today
recollection of
about
being handed documents by Lehrman
$250,000.
wasn't reliable. He asked Auerbach
That's a
about
lot of
notes
smash
taken by a
AVO.
clinical psychologist in 2023.
That's a lot of
And
smash.
do you recall telling her on the 14th of July that you had stopped or slowed down your drinking in early 2023?
Not an AVO
You
drug.
told her that prior to this time you had been consuming less than 140 standard drinks a week, or less than 30 standard drinks a day. Do you remember that?
Do you want it toasted?
No.
You deny that?
No.
I want to suggest to you, Mr. Auerbach, that your recollection of anything that happened in November or December 2022 is suspect. Do you
One of the
agree
documents
or
Auerbach
disagree?
says Lehrman
I
gave
disagree.
him, a 2,300-page tranche of texts between Higgins and their ex-boyfriend Ben Dillaway, Auerbach claims was handed over during a golf trip to Tasmania with Mark Llewellyn and John McGowan in December 2022.
It didn't happen, did it, Mr. Auerbach?
It most certainly did.
Once again, I take it on this golfing trip you were consuming about 20 standard drinks a day.
No, sir.
So on this golfing trip you decided to drink less than you normally were during this period. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's a pretty silly answer, isn't it, Mr. Auerbach?
No, it's true.
Taylor Auerbach will return to the witness box in Sydney's Federal Court on Friday. Come back to the front for more detailed coverage. And don't forget, subscribers can follow the proceedings live at theaustralian.com.au. Thanks for joining us on The Front this week. Our team is Kristen Amiot, Matthew Condon, Leah Tamaglu, Josh Burton, Jasper Leake, Tiffany Dimack and me, Claire Harvey.